here is the Curious Savage.
Is their car still in front, Fairy? I said, is their car in front?
Oh, Fairy! Florence was speaking to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Florence. I was watching the fireflies. What did you say?
I said, can you see if they've left yet?
I wish I'd been born a cat. Then I could see in the dark.
I don't think I'll wait for her. I'm going to get a book and go to my room.
Does your jaw hurt tonight, Jeff?
Not bad.
Then stay a little longer. We'd like to have you.
Jeff, you've already invested 267 minutes worth in waiting. Surely you can afford an additional 10 cents worth.
All right, my statistical friend. My curiosity is good for 10 minutes more.
Oh, I wonder what she's like. Miss Willie said she's one of the wealthiest families in America.
Oh, that's bad. She'll have an expensive camera she can't work. Or rave about an artist I never heard of.
Oh, cynic, has money spoiled me?
Do you have money, Fairy?
Bags.
Let's not be prejudiced about money. Some of my best friends are wealthy. Hannibal, play something while we're waiting. Help distract Jeff.
Well, you catch me tuned. What shall it be?
Surprise us.
How about a gypsy sardis?
Oh, please don't play gypsy music, Hannibal. It frightens me.
Frightens you?
Oh, it terrifies me. I was stolen by gypsies when I was a child and rescued just as they were about to dye my skin with walnut juice. Oh, well, I was.
Go ahead, Hannibal.
I hope she likes music. Maybe she plays an instrument herself. Oh, the harp. I hope she plays the harp all my life. I'm sorry, Hannibal. Go ahead. Oh, I was raised on the harp. Oh, my father, oh, like an angel.
Jeff, what are you doing?
Oh, there's a book I want on the shelf. I'm sorry, Hannibal.
Fairy, get the book for Jeff so we can listen to Hannibal.
Wait, I'll get a stool.
Never mind, Fairy. I can get it.
No. Climbing on stools is women's work. Men have mountains. Which book did you want?
The lifespan of the ape.
People give the strangest books to this library. I couldn't get into Forbidden Tibet.
It's amazing what standing above people does. Do you know, I feel smarter than anyone in the whole world.
It's the yellow one.
Books are in my blood. My mother invented the filing system at the New York Library. She was Queen of the Cross Index.
I'll get Jeff's book, Fairy.
No. Musicians shouldn't work.
Be careful, Fairy. Don't get dust in your eyes.
Wouldn't you like animal husbandry? Oh, I can reach that.
This time it's got to be lifespan of the ape.
Goose it out with this. Lights! Turn the lights back on!
Oh, don't let me fall!
Please turn the lights back on!
Hannibal, get to the switch before someone is hurt.
It looks like Mrs. Paddy's back.
Oh,
Lights!
please, Mrs. Paddy, let us keep the lights on.
One of these nights, you're going to turn the light off at the wrong time, and then you'll hurt somebody, and then you'll be sorry. I do wish you would have given something else up for Lent.
It's unfair to make the rest of us suffer to get you to heaven, Mrs. Paddy.
Other people like electricity.
Now sit at your easel like a good girl and leave the lights alone.
I must say, Miss Willie, you startled us. We thought you were still in the front office.
For the love of Pete, Fairy, what are you up to?
I was trying to get a book for Jefferey.
With a violin bow?
I couldn't reach it.
I certainly didn't mean to cause all this commotion. Forget it.
No. I'll get your book for you. Oh, everyone watch his own head. Timber! There you go, Jeffrey. You can take the bow, Hannibal, and my hand.
Well, the next time anyone wants a book from the top, Fairy, please call me. Why, the whole shelf might have fallen down on you.
Oh, who ever heard of anyone being hurt by good books?
Well, enough of them, my darling, and I'd hate for that to happen.
I hate everything in the world. But most of all, I hate cold cream, hot dogs, codfish, crawfish, catfish, catnip, sheep dip, sawdust, subways, sewers, skewers, buttermilk, caterpillars, frictions, fractions, pins, puns, pens, policemen, and electricity.
Miss Willie, how much longer do we have to wait?
What is she like, Miss Willie?
I haven't met her. Let's tidy up the place a bit. Could you put the Parcheesi board away, please, Fairy?
They're taking an awfully long time in the front office.
Is she young or old, Miss Willie?
All I know is her name is Savage, and she gets the blue room.
Oh, I hope she isn't beautiful. Competition exhausts me.
Tie that one on in a hurry, Bingo.
Oh, Miss Willie, don't call me that, please. It's a pet name my wife uses.
Oh, I forgot.
And I wish you wouldn't single me out to kiss.
Oh, but you're the handsomest.
What would my wife think if she came to call and saw a strange woman kissing me? She'd explode.
She would if I know her.
Will you please try to remember?
I'll try. Forgive me. Hello? Oh, yes, Dr. Emmett. Right away. Hannibal, could you put the dartboard up, please? Try not to clutter the place, darlings. We want to make a good first impression.
Oh, will we meet her now?
I don't know.
We haven't had anyone exciting here since the magician's wife, remember? And she was all nervous about being sawed in half so many times. What was her name?
Something hyphenated.
I forget, but she had color. Both my parents were albinos.
Really, Fairy, you shouldn't invent such things.
Oh, well, they were. Emotional albinos.
Oh, Fairy, don't peek. It's so degrading to get on your knees.
Oh, well, you get on your knees to pray, don't you? I'll say a prayer. Dear God, let me see. Or something.
Do you see anything?
Oh, yes, I do. God was quick.
Oh, what do you see?
Someone coming out of Dr. Emmett's office.
Who?
1, 2, 3 strange people. They're coming in here. Let's hide in the hall and eavesdrop.
Is that ethical, Jeff?
Oh, you know we'll be sent out anyhow.
We could call it espionage.
Oh, come, Miss Paddy. We're going to spy.
I'll go to the light switch. It's room to let guests enter a dark room.
This is the last time I'm going to be a party to peeking, Fairy. Kneeling simply ruins my nylons.
Oh, I mustn't get excited or I'll get the hiccups and betray us.
Dr. Emmett will join you in a moment.
Oh, please let him know that if there's nothing more, we'd like to get started back.
Yes, Senator. There's magazines on the table. Please, make yourselves at home.
Well, what do you think of it now, Titus?
Well, it certainly doesn't look like an institution.
Oh, not at all.
Oh, Mother will be contented and happy here, I'm sure.
Well, I just hope we haven't made a mistake.
Darling, the only mistake we made was not taking steps sooner.
I don't like to be thought of as insensitive. It may have been better to have kept her at home with an attendant.
Oh, that would be disastrous.
You're hard.
Someone has to be practical.
No, you're callous. You married too many foreigners.
Samuel, darling, we've done what had to be done. Let's not quarrel about it, please.
Lilybell is correct. This is civilized behavior.
I'm sorry to have delayed you. I was anxious to have Dr. Johnson question your mother.
This is quite the place you have here, Doctor. It is of great relief to us to have found your place so cheerful.
But then, we were assured that your place offered the very best that money could buy.
Well, we hope we offer the best that experience can provide.
One more thing. Mother won't be exposed to any danger here.
Oh, not at all. No, the guests in this wing are all in their final stage of treatment. Oh, they're all extremely kind and cooperative. Well, on the surface, most of them would seem quite as normal as, say yourself, Senator.
You don't say.
While we're waiting, Senator, I have a few more questions about this memorial fund of your mother.
Well, there's little more to tell. She planned on using it to give away the entire Savage estate.
The newspapers call it her happiness fund.
Well, was this indifference to money something recent?
I wouldn't say so.
She's always given money to foolish causes.
Well, would you mind being more specific?
Well, there was the Italian farmer that asked for a box of soil from Italy.
Just dirt.
Mother spent $200 to get it for him.
Then there was the flower peddler that asked for a tombstone for his horse.
And he got it.
After Father died, this obsession got progressively worse. Last summer, she chartered a ship to send 1,000 school children around the world.
Why?
She said they ought to go around the world, while there was still a world around.
We stopped her just as she was on the verge of setting up this fund legally.
With a board of directors.
Oh, fantastic board of directors. Not a banker or a bishop or a lawyer among them.
Well, whom did she choose?
A postman, a gardener, a veterinarian, and herself.
We should have known her mind was going the day she decided to go on the stage.
That. Have you ever heard of such a case before, Doctor? What would make a woman of her age suddenly decide to become an actress?
Well, the uniquest routine here, Senator. Nothing surprises us.
Well, if she had been talented or even vain, I could have understood it.
But she wasn't. She was always quiet, even timid. And then all of a sudden, this amazing change.
Grief did.
But why turn to acting? Life has enough drama in it.
God knows.
Isn't that right, Doctor?
Well, as Judge Savage says, God knows.
Oh, and I wish you could please explain that bear to us.
Oh, obvious exhibitionism.
Exactly.
She took a childish delight in being seen everywhere with that teddy bear.
Anything to indulge this sudden love for notoriety.
Her entire conduct was a travesty of dignity and self-respect.
And sound business.
Well, can you tell me, Senator, has there ever been a similar pattern of behavior in your mother's family?
Well, frankly, I don't know.
You see, Doctor, she's not actually our mother. Father remarried when we were children.
Oh, I see.
But it has never changed our feeling toward her.
Well, I'm afraid I can't be of much help to you until I've had time to observe her conduct here.
Well, you're the doctor.
And we know she'll be comfortable in such a charming place.
Wow. I wouldn't mind staying here myself.
Samuel, this is no place for laughter.
Oh, but we encourage laughter here, Senator. We think it healthy.
You do?
Definitely, it's good therapy. For as Byron says, and if I laugh at any mortal thing, 'tis that I may not weep.
Of course, of course.
Yes, Miss Willie.
Pardon me, Dr. Emmett, but Dr. Johnson will be able to complete Mrs. Savage's files for the moment.
Oh, why not?
Mines are a little, uncooperative.
Oh, well, in that case, bring her in here, please.
Yes, Doctor.
While you're saying goodbye, I'll have a talk with Dr. Johnson.
Please don't go, Doctor.
Oh, please, Doctor.
We prefer you stay. I think the shorter we make this, the better for all concerned.
You see, she's vindictive.
For some reason, Doctor, she holds me responsible.
We need to give her a little more time to get over the resentment.
Will you come in here, Mrs. Savage?
Won't you have a seat, Mrs. Savage?
We wait to say goodbye to your mother.
I do not like thee, Lily Belle. The reason why I cannot tell. But this I know and know full well. I do not like thee, Lily Belle.
She's been chanting that over and over all the way down here.
Oh, well, your children are leaving, Mrs. Savage. Wouldn't you like to say goodbye to them? Well, they would like to say goodbye to you, Mrs. Savage.
Oh, the fireflies are out. How lovely. What makes the fireflies light up, Doctor? Are they mating?
Oh, well, I really can't say, Mrs. Savage.
Well, I thought you would know. Isn't this a bug house?
This is the Cloisters, and this is to be your home. I am Dr. Emmett.
Wouldn't it be fascinating if human beings glowed like fireflies while they were mating? Do you light up when you're mating, Lily Belle? Lord knows you're flighty.
Titus, we might as well go. She's going to be unpleasant again.
Surely, Mother, you're not going to allow us to leave in an atmosphere of bitterness.
50 needles and 50 pins and 50 dirty Republicans.
She is determined to take the wrong attitude.
It is futile.
Well, time will take care of this. Come on, Samuel.
Doctor, I'll send more of her clothes down later. I couldn't pack but one grip under the circumstances.
Well, Sunday is Visitor's Day, if you'd care to bring them down then.
My sister is returning to Paris this week, but we will make arrangements. Goodbye, Mother.
If there's anything you need, Mrs. Savage, Miss Wilhelmina will take care of you.
We have a lovely garden out there. You'll be able to see it in the morning. When I was a child, it was 30 needles and 30 pins. You added 20 more dirty Republicans.
Oh, it's a fault of mine, exaggeration. It's really stupid of me to try to irritate them like this. I just irritate myself. Well, I suppose it has to be exasperating now to be funny later.
Well, I noticed one of its eyes is gone. It must have fallen out in the hall. I'll check after they go.
Oh, don't bother. I lost it last fall when I was at the opera. I would have found it, but the usher was so nasty about my lighting matches during the Magic Fire music. You know what this is, don't you?
Suppose you tell me.
It's a teddy bear. Surely you've seen one before.
Well, not that big.
Do you know what I do with it?
Couldn't possibly guess.
I sleep with it.
Oh, do you?
I do. You? Are you going to talk to me as if I were an imbecile too?
Here, here. We mustn't be hostile.
Oh, you're right. You haven't harmed me. Would you care to know why I sleep with it?
If you care to tell me.
Well, I don't care, and I'll tell you. I get lonely. I'm too old to have a lover, and I'm too fastidious to sleep with a cat.
Well, you must certainly take it to bed with you here. Would you like to take off your hat?
If I'm going to spend the rest of my life here, I might as well.
It's a mighty saucy hat.
Oh, a 10-cent piece of felt and 3 chicken feathers, $85. Why economy should be expensive, I do not know.
Oh, it takes imagination.
And the blood of pirates. But I wanted it. I wanted a hat like this since I was 16, for all the good it does me. Well, I won't be needing a hat here. Maybe you can use it for something. For what? I do not know.
Oh, no, you better keep it. You might need it.
My hair must look like the matted end of a coconut.
Oh, I don't think so. It's a heavenly color.
Oh, you should have seen it last year. It was a bright red. Then, just to be different, I dyed it black with a white streak in the middle. I looked like nothing so much as a skunk. Finally, I just gave up and tinted it blue. It goes with everything.
Well, it will certainly go with your room. Would you like to go up and get settled?
Is it time to lock me up?
I wouldn't dream of locking you up. Did you bring a suitcase?
My daughter did. I wasn't consulted.
Well, I'll go get it, and then we'll go up. You can explore your surroundings tomorrow. Oh, you can wait right here.
Alone?
Of course.
No handcuffs?
We have the honor system.
Honor system indeed.
Hello?
Miss Willie says the bars are only there to keep the world outside. Corny, isn't it? Oh, it's alive! Oh, really, Fairy, you must stop frightening yourself. The poor thing is quite harmless. It won't bite? It won't bite, shed, or lay eggs. And to the best of my knowledge, is unvexed by sex. It couldn't be less trouble.
Well, in that case, any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Thank you. Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. You must be Mrs. Savage. I'm Florence Williams. How do you do? We've been expecting you all afternoon. We're so glad to have you with us. May I introduce Fairy May?
So you will be...
But we just met.
Oh, you don't have to mean it. I feel wonderful when people say they love me.
Well, I'm sure everyone loves you.
You see, I told you she wouldn't be spoiled. Welcome to the cloisters. Climate best by government tests.
Thank you. And this is Hannibal. And this is our Mrs. Paddy.
Well, how do you do, Mrs. Paddy?
I hate everything in the world. But most of all, I hate lightning, skunk cabbage, custard, mustard, spiders, blisters, girdles, mice, bees, cheese, ragweed, chloroform, rhubarb, barnacles, bats, broken glass, eels, crumbs, drunks, tombstones, gallstones, salt, and thunder.
Why don't you like rhubarb?
Mrs. Paddy won't answer you, Mrs. Savage. She'll only recite the things she hates.
Oh, sweet, but stubborn.
Mrs. Paddy stopped talking about 20 years ago.
Why?
Oh, she got mad.
Her husband told her to shut up.
And she did.
She gave up conversation for life.
Oh, but she only gave up electricity for Lent.
You are a woman of wisdom, Mrs. Paddy. There's only one thing wiser than saying very little, and that's saying nothing at all. Oh, would you like to hold it?
Oh, she likes you.
And I like her.
Oh, you haven't met Jeff. Come here, Jeff.
Please excuse my left hand.
Certainly. Is it a toothache?
Jeff's face is scarred, and he likes to spare people.
Oh, well, he needn't spare me. I have to look at myself every morning.
Dr. Emmett refuses to let me wear a bandage.
Well, we have to humor our doctors once in a while.
And now you have met everyone. We're a small group in this wing, and we hope you'll find us comfortable to be with.
Oh, but Mrs. Savage hasn't met everyone. She hasn't met the Holy Terror.
Of course, how stupid of me.
Oh, where's he, Florence?
Oh, well, he was here a few moments ago. John Thomas.
He might have gone out in the hall.
I'll see. John Thomas.
You won't hurt him, will you?
Well, gracious, why should I?
You won't object, will you?
Well, what is John Thomas?
Her son. Well, what did you think?
Here?
Oh, yes, he was born here.
I can't find... Oh, look, asleep on the floor. My husband warned me I'd be a bad mother. Mrs. Savage, this is my son.
You like children, don't you?
Everyone's but my own. How old is he?
5.
Oh, he's very big for 5 months.
No, 5 years.
Oh, I meant years.
Will you excuse me now? I have to put him to bed. He has measles. I do hope he won't catch them. Excuse me.
That was exceedingly kind of you, Mrs. Savage, not to notice anything wrong.
There wasn't time to explain, but you were like lightning.
Poor Florence isn't well, but we pretend for her sake. We hope you will too.
Oh, I will.
Well, I think you should understand right away, Mrs. Savage, that except for Florence, the rest of us are free to leave here anytime we want to.
But we don't go because there's no better place to go.
You're a very lucky woman to be accepted here, Mrs. Savage, if I do say so myself. When I do.
Oh, do be quiet.
Tyrant.
What is that?
That rude noise is the signal for us to go to our rooms.
It's the evil of the machine age, perfect distance and no manners.
Well, ours is not to reason why. I wonder why no one ever quotes the first line. It's someone blundered.
Well, good night.
I didn't hear you. We never say that. It means there's no more.
No more what?
Oh, there's no more of so much.
Well, don't let Jeff's manner disturb you, Mrs. Savage. During the war, his plane was shot down in flames. He hasn't quite recovered yet.
Was his face badly burned?
Oh, not at all. Jeff bailed out. But he was the only one. He lost his crew. His scar goes deeper than you can see.
Surely you've guessed by now that Hannibal and I are the only guests here free to leave. But we couldn't tell you in front of the others, and we pretend to save their pride. I'm sorry, Mrs. Paddy. Oh, I forgot you were still here. You know I didn't mean you anyhow. Oh, I could tear my tongue out. Will you excuse me if I don't apologize, or she'll sulk?
Poor fairy has a gift of good for saying the wrong thing.
Well, I should think it would take a bit of doing to apologize to someone who won't talk and sulks anyhow.
Well, you'll get used to Mrs. Paddy. Just treat her like a clock. Look at her to see how the day goes, but don't expect an answer. She's happy at her easel.
Oh, is she an artist?
I don't know whether she's an artist or not, but she paints.
Portraits?
No, seascapes, which is rather odd because she's never seen the ocean.
I forgot to warn you, Mrs. Savage. If you go to your room, don't sleep.
What did she mean about not sleeping?
Oh, we don't sleep here.
Well, where do you sleep?
We don't. Oh, we go to our rooms. We've all agreed to that on principle. But we stay awake. We never close our eyes. Oh, when you go to sleep, today ends, and when today ends, tomorrow begins. Well, today we're safe. Tomorrow may be filled with disaster. You won't catch us sleeping here. Could anything be easier?
Not much.
Well, today is the only certainty.
Hannibal, you heard the buzzard. Why aren't you in your room?
I am in spirit, and everybody says it's the spirit that counts. Remember, fight the night.
Did they all come down to meet you?
Well, there was a Mrs. Paddy and 4 others who have no business being here.
I quite agree.
Do you think I belong here?
We are understaffed, Mrs. Savage. I am kept far too busy to have any opinions.
Well, I'd like to know what they told you about me.
Was there something to tell?
Did they mention my memorial fund?
Not to me.
Well, then they probably told you my husband's death affected my reason.
That would be understandable.
But untrue.
Why? Weren't you happy with your husband?
I married Jonathan when I was 16. I loved him from the moment I met him till the moment he died. And do you know what that meant?
I think so.
Well, you don't, my dear. It meant my only aim in life was to make him happy, to want what he wanted, to anticipate what would please him. And that meant all the other things I'd ever wanted to do had to be forgotten.
But surely you have no regrets.
None while he lived. But after he was gone, I remembered all the foolish things I had always wanted to do.
And what had you always wanted to do?
Things that would have shocked poor Jonathan.
Such as dyeing your hair blue?
Oh, that. And studying French and ballet dancing and people. As a girl, I was always sure I could have been a great actress. So, with no responsibilities and time slipping away, I decided to be one.
But don't you think you waited too long?
Oh, I certainly do. Had I been a fool in my youth, no one would have noticed the difference in my old age.
I never think of you as old, Mrs. Savage.
Well, having kicked over the traces myself and learned once again the importance of unimportant things, I decided I would help other people have the foolish things they'd always wanted.
How are you going to do that?
By establishing the Jonathan Savage Memorial Fund, a foundation for giving money away in memory of my husband. And that insane idea has brought me here.
Well, you won't find it too unpleasant here. Are you ready to go up to your room?
Well, I guess I learned one thing from my French lessons.
What's that?
What I am. I'm a mort canard. That's dead duck, I think.
Now, it's not as bad as that.
Oh, yes, it is, my dear. Someday you will realize a great injustice was done me. You will know that I was always quite sane. But here I am, and here they'll try to keep me, with my few foolish years taken from me. If people would walk around the edge of the carpet once in a while, it would save wearing it out in the middle. you bring melody to the morning.
You could be in the concert field, Hannibal, if you worked at it.
Oh, you're so right, Jeffrey. Golden fingertips. I simply surrender to them. I'm a rag.
Do come in, Mrs. Savage.
I trust you had a pleasant, sleepless night.
Oh, lovely, thank you, not a wink. You just missed Hannibal's recital.
I heard it. As a matter of fact, it's what brought me out of my room.
You wouldn't believe it, Mrs. Savage, but Hannibal never touched a violin until last year.
Now, why do you think I wouldn't believe that, my dear? Was it something you composed yourself, Hannibal?
Bach with variations of my own.
Mathematics loss was certainly our gain.
Now, I don't quite follow that, Fairy.
Oh, Fairy knows that I used to be a statistician.
Thank you. Now I'm straight.
Well, give him a fraction to multiply.
Oh, I'm afraid I wouldn't know if he was right or not.
Well, my last position was with the government charting trends. I was supposed to keep my finger on the pulse of the public and my ear to the ground.
A rather vulnerable position, was it not?
Very. Well, I was fired and replaced by an electronic calculator.
Well, I should think you would hate electricity, too.
No, but I did want to make money using my brains. So, I spent the next 2 years trying to think of something that could be made for a dime and sold for $1 and was habit forming. I'm afraid my education was wasted.
I'm going to send John Thomas to Princeton. Their boys aren't very bright, but they're such gentlemen.
Oh, that reminds me. Mrs. Savage, can we ask you a personal question?
Well, they're the only ones worth asking, my dear.
A little bird told us that you used to be an actress. We're bursting with curiosity. Is it true?
Oh, that, well, if being on the stage makes you an actress, then I guess it's true.
Oh, Miss Willie, she's the bird Florence mentioned, told us you'd been on the New York stage.
I wonder if we've ever seen you, Mrs. Savage.
Not unless you were quick. Actually, I've only been in 2 plays. The first was Macbeth.
Oh, I adore Macbeth. All the blood. I sent a pint of mine to the Red Cross once. They sent it back.
I should think you would have been a novel departure as Lady Macbeth.
I can't tell you how much I agree with you, but they cast me as a witch.
Oh, but you're a perfect witch.
Well, thank you, dear.
Oh, speak some witch talk for us.
Well, I didn't have any lines. If I did, it probably would have cost me twice as much.
Why did it cost you anything?
Why back the show? If I hadn't put up the money, I couldn't have played even the mute witch. But we made history. It was the first show that ever closed before the reviews were out.
Was it expensive?
Oh, extremely, but worth it.
Oh, what a pity. Weren't you discouraged?
Oh, bitterly. But man is by nature optimistic. If he weren't, he'd eat his young. So I decided to write a play and star myself.
Oh, you wrote a play?
I did indeed, with a courage born of ignorance and a plot out of wedlock.
What part did you play then?
Well, naturally, the lead. It was Not Guilty, starring Ethel P. Savage.
What does the P stand for?
Oh, I haven't the faintest idea. My numerologist told me I had to have it in my name for good luck, and he was right. We ran for a year.
Oh, what was the play about?
It was about a mother who murders a man and is defended by a young woman lawyer who turns out to be her own daughter. I had red hair, and I died in my daughter's arms every night and 2 matinees a week, just as the curtain came down and the jury whispered, "Not guilty." Oh, I've never had a better time in my life.
I gather the notices were good that time.
Well, they were sincere, but it didn't make any difference.
What did they say?
The Times said that my play set the theater back by 50 years. It couldn't be possible because I stole the plot from Madam X, and that's only 40 years old.
Well, wouldn't you think they'd know?
Oh, the Wall Street Journal said I was wonderful. They said I brought something new to the theater.
Oh, money.
Oh, very really. Money isn't new.
What did Wall Street say?
They said I had a tenacious mediocrity, unhampered by taste.
But that wasn't good.
It was perfect. In our ads, we simply said tenacious and unhampered.
And you ran a year?
Oh, we'd be running yet if my daughter hadn't come home and stopped me. Oh, I know I was bad, and the audiences only came to laugh at me, but we both had a good time. What more could you ask? I do miss it. Oh well, my turn is coming.
I don't think that was very nice of your daughter. Oh, no! Oh, don't do it, please don't!
Barry, what's wrong?
Look, Mrs. Savage is about to read the newspaper.
Oh,
Well, what's the matter?
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
please give it to me, please, Mrs. Savage.
You mustn't read it.
It will only make you unhappy.
Now, just a moment. I know what the paper is going to say, so there's nothing you can hide from me. I've just been waiting for it to happen.
Waiting for what to happen, Mrs. Savage?
Right, what it says in the paper.
But we don't know what it says in the paper.
Well, then why were you trying to keep me from seeing it?
We have an agreement.
We never read the newspaper till it's a month old.
We find we're much happier when we wait.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, well, naturally, we're waiting for... What are we waiting for, Hannibal?
A perspective.
Peace of mind.
Security.
We believe it's better to read about unpleasant things a month after they've happened.
It's reassuring when you know it's over and nothing can be done.
My dear people, there is something very important in the paper. I want to know about it. And I want to know about it now, not next month.
We're only trying to help you.
Yes.
Disaster is easier to digest when it's aged a little.
You're very kind, but I've made my bed, and I want to know who's in it.
We can't prevent Mrs. Savage from reading the paper if she insists. We don't know her well enough to be rude.
Florence is right.
Well, if you read anything unpleasant, don't tell us.
No!
If there's trouble in the world, it won't help us to know about it.
Wait, this is yesterday's paper. I want today's paper.
It's not here yet.
Well, when does it come?
I don't know.
Is there a radio here?
Yes, right over there.
Maybe I'll catch the news. Why didn't someone mention there was a radio here?
You didn't ask us.
Well, this doesn't light up. Is there something wrong with this set?
Oh, I don't think so. Of course, it hasn't any tubes.
It hasn't any what?
Tubes. Mrs. Paddy steals them. She hates electricity, you know.
No one knows where she hides them.
Well, why didn't someone say that the set didn't have any tubes?
You didn't ask us.
Oh, dear, 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 dear. How high is that wall?
Much too high.
Oh, easily 10 chairs high.
And I suppose no one ever leaves the great gate open?
Don't look beyond the garden, Mrs. Savage. There may be a better place somewhere, but if you give this up to search for it, you may not find it and lose what you have.
You'll like it here after a while.
Oh, except in January, the rooms get a little cold.
We like you already.
Oh, it isn't that I don't find you enchanting, but
But we what?
Oh, please don't say anything mean. Do be still.
We have to go, Mrs. Savage.
But where?
It's the garden hour.
We each have a little plot and we plant things. You can plant anything you wish, vegetables or flowers.
Last year, I planted birdseed just to see what would come up.
What did come up, Barry?
Oh, nothing, but it was a rich horticultural experience.
There's a beautiful evergreen in the center. And at Christmas, it has lights that say, Merry Christmas. Keep out.
Come with us, Mrs. Savage. I'll show you my delphiniums.
Oh, please go without me. I have some serious thinking to do. I'll just stay here.
But the buzzer buzzed. One has to obey orders.
May I ask what you're doing, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, I believe in wearing a carpet out evenly.
Oh, how prudent. I'm going to help you.
But don't you have to garden?
Oh, this is more constructive.
I'll help too. We must each do our share.
But I didn't mean to start a procession.
Come on, boys. Many feet make light work.
Well, why not? It's a refreshing change. Most women lead us in circles.
Go ahead, Mrs. Savage. We're behind you.
Oh, I feel like the Pied Piper.
You take the green pattern, Jeff. Hannibal, you step on the ground. Mrs. Savage can have white, and the rest of us will walk on orange. Oh, do you know what we're doing, Miss Willie?
Wearing out the carpet evenly.
Someone told you.
Didn't I hear the buzzer ring garden hour?
I didn't hear anything. I think it's broken.
Very. Aren't you ashamed?
Oh, I wish I were dead. I'm afraid this is my fault, Miss Willie.
I didn't feel like gardening anyhow. But you've worked so hard with your flowers. Do you want them to die, Florence?
I don't want anything to die.
Oh, that's so true. Florence wouldn't hurt a fly. She catches them and lets them out a window. Flies adore her.
Well, I think we should all go out to the garden. Barry, could you share your seats with Mrs. Savage, please? Hurry now. Run along. Aren't you going to go along with them?
Well, I wanted to speak to you alone.
All right. What can I do for you?
A great deal. And I might be able to do a great deal for you, too.
You got to offer me a bribe, Mrs. Savage?
How did you guess?
Well, everyone does at first.
Well, still, mine's a little different. I have the money. I'll give you $20,000 if you'll leave the door open tonight. $30,000.
Don't you like us, Mrs. Savage?
That is the most irritating answer to a firm business offer, my dear. $40,000. You can be free of this place, too.
But I don't want to be free of it.
$50,000. You can go around the world, see Cairo, Mandalay, the South Pacific.
But I've been to Cairo. I've seen Mandalay and the South Pacific.
You have?
I spent 4 years as an army nurse.
Still, you should be able to use $50,000.
Now, where did you get $50,000, Mrs. Savage? That's a fortune.
Never mind, I can get it. And in the current idiom, 50,000 is peanuts.
Oh, I believe you. I'm afraid I have to refuse.
Well, then you give me no choice but to burn the place down.
Oh, you wouldn't do that.
Oh, yes, I would.
People here wouldn't know how to save themselves. You'd think of them first.
If you believe that I belong here, why are you appealing to my reason?
I wasn't. I was appealing to your emotions.
Well, I'll get out of here quick enough. It's just that bribing you would have been cheaper, and now it's going to cost me a couple of million at least.
Oh, good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Is Mrs. Savage downstairs?
Oh, she just this moment went out to the garden.
What is her state of mind this morning?
The usual pattern. She's already offered me a bribe.
What did she offer you?
The highest yet. $50,000. Oh, the poor dear.
Did she sound confident?
Oh, definitely manic. She talked as if she still controlled her own affairs.
Apparently, she does. Read this. I've just been talking to her children. They're practically out of their minds themselves. The senator is leaving Washington at once. He'll pick up his sister in New York and the judge in Boston and be here by tonight.
This is the most amazing story I've ever read. When did they discover it?
Well, I gathered this morning. They asked me to confine her to her room.
I don't understand. I mean, how could she get away with so much money?
Well, apparently her husband left the estate to her and she's been secretly selling out control ever since.
$10 million? That's a typographical error, isn't it?
No, they had it all right.
What could she have done with it?
Well, as her son says, God knows.
Could she have spent it?
I doubt it. Would you call her, please? You know, I'd better tell her what to expect.
Mrs. Savage? Could you come in, please? Dr. Emmett wants to talk to you. Are you going to place her in seclusion?
Oh, of course not. Although sometimes I wish there was a way of placing relations in seclusion. They're always much more trouble than patients.
Do you think she knows what happened to the money?
Well, if she does, she's the only one.
Is there any possibility that there's a method to her madness?
Oh, Miss Willie, I find it harder every day to say exactly where reason ends and madness begins. For the moment, I must accept the presumptive evidence of her stepchildren.
From what I hear, her son's record in Congress could give any good psychiatrist a nasty turn.
It certainly would. And the sensationalism of her daughter's 6 divorces doesn't speak well for her emotional stability either.
Do you want me, Doctor?
Yes, good morning. Would you help out on the switchboard, Miss Willie? Miriam has been deluged with calls from newspapers.
Yes, doctor.
Please sit down, Mrs. Savage.
I think I know what you're going to tell me.
Do you?
I see you have the morning papers. I wondered how long it would take them to find out.
Then you're aware of what you've done and the consequences?
Oh, it's too early for consequences. May I see it?
The senator phoned from Washington. We can expect them by tonight.
Indeed we can. Well, I'm not going anyplace.
Mrs. Savage, how could you possibly have spent $10 million without someone knowing about it?
Who said I spent it?
Well, that paper says you did.
Oh, what did they know? I didn't spend it. I couldn't. I hid it.
You hid it.
In a nice little neat bundle of negotiable bonds, $500,000 negotiable bonds that cannot be traced.
Why?
Well, I don't ask what you do with your money, Doctor.
Well, I'm sorry this has happened, Mrs. Savage, but I'm afraid your hidden treasure is going to prove a great disadvantage to you.
Well, that's because you're a doctor, and doctors never know the value of money.
Would you like to know how long it would take me to earn that much money, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, excuse me. I just came back to get my violin. Fairy May wants music while she plants her seeds.
Hannibal, just a moment. You were a statistician. How long would it take the average doctor to earn $10 million?
Well, he'd have to start before Christ was born and work right through the burning of Rome up through the burning of St. Joan and Savonarola. With time out, of course, for the Norman Conquest, the Crusades, the 100 Years' War, the 30 Years' War, and the 7 Years' War. So we'd have to work double time during the discovery of America, right up through penicillin and bubblegum, but that's without deducting federal tax, state tax, city tax, school tax, luxury tax, and amusement tax. You'd add 100 years for that.
Thank you, Hannibal. It's a great deal to be responsible for, Mrs. Savage.
Now what's the doctor up to?
A bit of emotional blackmail, I suspect. Hannibal, would you guess to look at me that I'm worth $10 million on the hoof?
Never. Well, the human body has only about 20 cents worth of calcium in it, 5 cents worth of iodine, and 20 cents worth of phosphorus. Well, even at present high prices, nobody's worth over $1.50.
So you only value me at $1.50?
Never. You said worth. Your value is inestimable.
Oh, Hannibal, I like you. I like you very much. You make me feel important. You make me feel like dancing.
Oh, splendid. What shall I play?
Anything.
I'm very good on the flight of the bumblebee.
Oh, could anything be more appropriate? The bees come home and find the honey gone. Someone is going to be stung. Play, Hannibal, play!
Are you reading?
Yes, sir.
Is it interesting?
Oh, very.
I'm not disturbing you, am I?
Now, whatever would make you think that? What's the matter, Fairy May?
Oh, nothing. It's just that no one has said they loved me all this livelong day.
Why, yes, they have, Fairy.
Oh, no, they haven't. I've been waiting.
I heard Florence say it at the dinner table.
She did?
I did? She said, Fairy, don't eat too fast.
And that was saying she loved me?
Of course, people say it when they say, take an umbrella, it's raining, or hurry back, or even, watch out, you'll break your neck. There's hundreds of ways of wording it. All you have to do is listen for it, my dear.
My dentist said I have a perfect occlusion. Do you think he's telling me he loves me?
What else? Why, the first time I met my husband, I was horseback riding, and he said I had a good seat. I knew immediately he loved me.
Oh, I've been missing so much. My dentist loves me.
Now, what else would you like to have me clear up for you?
Oh, nothing. I'm sorry I disturbed you. Thank you and forgive me.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
I'm keeping score and the boys won't help me. What's 7 and 5 and 4?
49.
Mrs. Savage.
It's my own system, Hannibal. I refuse to submit to the tyranny of mathematics.
Then I win.
Well, I'll keep score next time.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
may I interrupt you a moment?
Well, of course.
There's one other thing you could clear up for me. Why is it suddenly Sunday again when it was Sunday yesterday?
Why do you think it's Sunday?
Well, if your children are coming to see you, it must be Sunday, because that's Visitor's Day. I must have had an awfully good time this week.
Well, it isn't Sunday, Fairy. It's just that my brood are coming back because they couldn't wait a week.
Well, that should make you happy.
It should, but it doesn't.
Well, excuse me. Don't you like them?
Not at all.
Oh, I think that's a wicked thing to say.
Well, we all have to be wicked once in a while to get God's attention. But if it consoles you, Florence, they weren't mine. My husband was left with 3 small children.
But you must have liked them when they were little.
Oh, I wanted to make them my own desperately, but they always resented me. Why, the first time I put my arm around Belle, she bit me. And she bit me every day till she was 10.
Oh, that must have made you very high-strung.
What happened at the exact age of 10?
I suppose at 10 a girl begins to consider her teeth.
But the boys are always so much better.
Oh, not always. They've been spoiled by money. And whenever I tried to correct them, they would just break something I treasured just to get even with me. It was a happy day when they went away to school.
School must have taught them something.
Yes, French. After that, whenever they came home, they spoke nothing but French, so I couldn't understand them. And I haven't understood them since.
But you must be proud of them now. The senator is quite famous, isn't he?
That he is, make no mistake. I'm told he gets more threatening telegrams than any other man in Congress. I believe Western Union lists him as a tangible asset.
If he's so unpopular, why do the voters keep sending him back to Washington?
Well, they're no fools. It's the only way to keep him out of the state.
The other son is a judge, isn't he?
Well, that's a distinction.
He's made it one. He has the distinction of having more of his decisions reversed than any other man in jurisprudence.
Oh, is the daughter pretty, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, well, there's a picture in the paper. I'll show it to you. You can judge for yourself.
Oh, don't read us anything out of the paper, please.
Oh, I won't. I'll just show it to you.
Oh, we don't look at pictures either.
People are always pinned under trucks.
I'll peek first. I'll make sure it isn't horrible.
Well, even I don't say it's horrible.
Oh, she's a queen! She's wearing a crown.
Oh, a queen? That's a tiara, Fairy. It's an old picture taken when she was married to her Slovak prince.
Let's take a quick look, Hannibal, just to be polite.
Then she's a princess?
No, she discarded the prince a good 6 husbands ago.
Oh, but why?
Hell hath no music like a woman playing second fiddle.
But she kept the tiara.
Indeed she did. I suspect she sleeps in it.
I don't know when I've seen a prettier tiara.
My, that dress is rather low cut, isn't it?
I don't like her. Let's do something mean to her.
What, Fairy?
Oh, well, I don't mean really mean. Something like pinning her picture to the dartboard and throwing darts at it.
Fairy.
My dear, you are a sweet child. That's exactly what we'll do.
Oh, you wouldn't.
I need the exercise, my dear.
Fairy, you're an evil girl to think up such a thing.
Oh, don't talk to me like that. I'm sensitive.
Oh, leave her alone. Florence, I'm the culprit. Is there anything here I could pin this up with?
Oh, Miss Paddy has some thumbtacks.
Oh, Fairy, I'm so disappointed in you.
I wish I had died in my cradle.
Mrs. Paddy, that is the loveliest seascape I have ever seen. Do you know I can actually smell the ocean? I think your genius lies in your simplicity. You challenge the imagination. Could I borrow 2 thumbtacks?
Thank you. It's setting a very bad example for motherhood.
Stop worrying, Florence. Don't you like surprises?
Yes?
Well, I want to surprise Lily Belle. I'll tee off. Target for tonight, right in a tiara.
Something dreadful is going to happen, I know.
Everyone to the upstairs study. Mrs. Savage's visitors are here.
Oh, may I stay, Miss Willie? I never get to meet strangers anymore. Oh, please let me.
I'm sorry, Fairy, but the senator insisted on privacy. Hurry now. Everyone out.
Someday when I'm ordered out, I'm just going to go without saying a word. I have as much pride as anyone.
All the way upstairs now. How's the weather out there? Stormy. Here are your visitors, Mrs. Savage.
That will be all. You can wait outside.
I'll leave the door off the latch, and I'll be waiting at the hall desk.
I don't know what to say to you, Mother. I just don't know what to say.
Well, polite people say good evening.
Deception is so unlike you.
I'm not angry. I'm just hurt. Have you any idea of the enormity of what you've done? You have sold control of 15 Savage industries.
We'll have to sell our stock in Savage Brass to get it back.
Oh, did you find out? I sold that first.
Oh. I mustn't get excited. I mustn't get excited.
What
I
else?
get lines.
What else did you dispose of?
Everything in my name.
We're ruined. What did you do with the money? You couldn't have spent it.
Tell us what you did with it, dear.
I converted it into a neat little bundle of negotiable bonds and buried them.
When you say buried, do you mean hidden?
I mean buried, as in funeral.
In the ground?
I feel physically ill.
Where are they buried?
I forget.
Where did you bury them? Concentrate.
Best thing in the world for getting lines out of the face, Lily Belle. Now, I'm going to have to find you a new eye. Do you know of any place that sells bare eyes, Lily Belle?
Give me that stupid thing and answer us.
Miss Willie, help!
Lily Belle, you're just antagonizing her.
I'm sorry, Mother. You could hold your bear. We forget that you're sick.
Now, Mother, what we must make you understand is that it's not so much the money involved that concerns us so much as it is the disgrace of what is happening. What happened?
She bit me.
Oh, nonsense. Whatever Mother may do, she wouldn't descend to biting.
It must have been a wasp.
Well, if ever there was a wasp, it's the woman we call Mother. I know when I've bitten.
Lily Belle,
Marks.
there's no need to be so excited.
Does it hurt?
Well, of course it hurts.
Lily Belle, we won't get anywhere fighting amongst ourselves. Now stop it. We can't afford it.
You can't afford anything.
Now, Mother, we simply refuse to be angry with you. Now, Lily Belle, apologize.
I will not.
Lily Belle.
It's quite all right, Mother. I don't object to your biting me. Gnaw and mangle me to the bone. Gum me to your heart's content. Only tell us what you did with our money.
My money. You've already had yours.
The estate is ours. It's belonged to the Savage family for generations.
8 generations.
It's unthinkable that you would be the first Savage to be found wanting.
Found wanting what?
The Savage pride. Now, I want you to listen carefully to what I have to say. The estate has always been a sacred trust. While we've never considered ourselves to be possessors of a great fortune, but rather custodians of wealth. Don't do that.
Look, I just asked you to look. She's been throwing darts at my picture.
What of it? It can't possibly hurt you.
Well, it's a vicarious form of murdering someone. It's the most vicious sort of voodoo magic known to science.
We're losing ground.
We were fostered by a werewolf. Every savage son of us.
My patience is exhausted. What have you done with the money?
I told you, I buried it.
Where? Unless you tell us at once, you're going to go to a public institution.
Oh, you have me in such a state I can't think. I haven't a brain in my head. Anyhow, you've said so time and again.
Oh, not me.
Oh, all of this noise has given me a headache. I can't remember a thing.
Oh, what do you mean you can't remember a thing? Of course you can.
I can't. My head is pounding.
We better be careful, Titus.
Can we get you anything?
Yes, the only thing that helps is the powders that clear my head.
Where are they?
I'm out of them.
We'll get more.
Will you?
Of course.
Here's a prescription number from my druggist in Boston.
You mean drive all the way back to Boston?
Oh, where is everyone?
Are you ill?
Oh, Titus, this is dangerous. We better get those powders and come back in the morning. We won't accomplish anything this evening.
I agree. You go get the prescription filled.
Get it filled, Samuel. I'm going to bed right when I get back.
Are you prepared to tell us what you've done with the bonds in the morning?
Pound, pound, pound.
I'll tell the chauffeur we're ready.
Well, now what got into him? Well, we'd better go. We'll be back first thing in the morning.
Pound, pound, pound.
Oh, come on, Lily Belle. I'll have Dr. Emmett give her a sedative.
Lily Belle,
What do you mean?
I have something important to tell you about the bonds. Close the door.
Well,
I wanted to tell you, and you alone, where I hid the bonds.
well, why me?
Oh, Titus and Samuel are such fools, and if anything should happen to me overnight, the bonds would be lost.
Well, it was Titus who wanted you here, not I. Where did you hide them?
Where would you hide $10 million if you didn't trust banks?
Well, I don't know.
Under a rock?
Of course not.
Would you hide it in your mattress? Of course, we know you're never very far from your mattress. But if you were and the house burned down...
Well, are you going to tell me or not?
Have you ever been to the Museum of Natural History?
No.
Very educational and fireproof.
Oh, Mother, please.
Do you know what's on the 3rd floor of the museum?
How could I?
The Department of Ichthyology.
What are you talking about?
Fish. The last room on the 3rd floor, hanging by 2 wires, is a big, dusty porpoise.
Well,
I stuffed my bonds in that stuffed fish when no one was looking.
I don't believe you.
Name me a safer place.
Only a fool would do such a thing.
Well, that's me.
How could you stuff a package of bonds inside a porpoise?
Easy. Razor blades and Scotch tape.
How do I know you're telling me the truth?
Well, there's one simple way to find out.
You must think I'm very gullible. I have no intention of hunting inside a stuffed fish.
Are we to hold the car for you all night, Lily Belle? Samuel is honking.
Oh, let him honk.
Dr. Emmett will be back in just a few minutes, okay?
Oh, Titus,
Yes.
a goodbye kiss?
You bit Lily Belle. I don't trust you.
Well, that's ironical because I trust you. I was just going to tell you where I hid the bonds.
Surely you know that I didn't want you here. I listened to Lily Belle.
Will you get me out of here and let me alone?
You know I will.
Well, then I'll tell you where the bonds are. They're in a tin box.
Where?
Do you remember when I went to Washington with a group from Actors Equity?
No.
Well, I do. It was National Ethel Week, and I had lunch with the First Lady, and there was Ethel Barrymore, and Ethel Waters, and Ethel Merman, and Ethel...
And what are you talking about?
My bonds are buried in the president's hothouse.
I don't believe you.
You didn't believe Pearl Harbor either till you investigated.
But why such a public place? Everybody in and out.
I'm just not very bright.
I am the only man that cannot get into the White House.
You should try to agree with him more often.
How do I know you didn't just imagine this?
Well, there's one sure way to find out. Dig.
Oh no, I'm not gonna fall for that trap. You didn't bury the box there.
In the corner, under the petunia bed.
Titus, unless you hurry, Samuel's going off without us.
I'm coming. And I refuse to believe you.
Oh, wait, listen, we're horrible.
We're quite ashamed.
Oh, we all wish we were dead.
We wanted to stop listening and sneak away, but we couldn't without making too much noise.
Oh, it's quite all right. It's not a secret. If you read the papers, you'd know.
Did you really hide all that money?
I did indeed, for my memorial fund.
And now you're giving it back.
You're very generous for your size and weight.
But you didn't tell the judge where his share was.
The prescription was really a note saying to dig under the chimney.
But why did you hide it if you're going to tell them where it was?
Who said I did?
Oh, we heard you.
Foolish I am, but not that foolish. Whatever is under the chimney or under the president's petunias, I can assure you it is, and in the stuffed porpoise, I can assure you it isn't my little bundle of bonds.
And why did you say they were?
I want to know to what extent they'll make fools of themselves.
No, nothing makes the truth seem so shabby as a magnificent lie. How splendid.
How do you know they'll believe you?
They want to believe me,
They might consider it degrading to go digging.
but they will.
How can you be sure?
There aren't a million things a man would do for $5, but there aren't 5 things a man won't do for $1 million. They'll dig.
Oh, I didn't know anyone was in here.
And I didn't know you could play the piano.
I only play when I'm alone.
You shouldn't be so shy, Jeff. No one's going to compare you with a professional.
But I am a professional.
Oh.
I made my debut in Town Hall a week before the war. Jefferey Meredith, see?
Oh. Why, it says you were brilliant. Oh, forgive me. I should have known.
I was going to appear with the Philharmonic. I didn't, but I have the contract to prove I might have.
But you never play. Please go on. I'd like to hear you.
No, I don't like to be stared at.
Oh, well, I'll just look the other way and listen.
I'd rather not. I'm not ready to face people yet. Please don't insist.
Oh, well, I wouldn't dream of it.
Thank you. Can you keep a secret?
About 10 minutes.
Dr. Emmett isn't a doctor at all.
What is he?
He's a patient just like Mrs. Paddy.
You think so?
For 5 years now, he's promised to give me a new face.
No, he's a doctor, Jeff. It says so on his office door. He wouldn't lie.
Do you believe a man is what he claims to be?
Well, I'm a trusting soul, and I try to believe the best of people.
Oh, it's best to believe the worst. If you believe the worst, then the worst is only half bad at best. And the best is no worse than expected. So it's best to believe the worst.
Oh, Why, Jeffrey, that is just obscure enough to be profound. What does it mean?
It's simple. When a man says he's wise, you say he's a fool. But if he says he's a fool, you believe him.
Well, only a fool would say he's wise.
Exactly! Which proves I'm right. Dr. Emmett is a fool. He claims he's a doctor. The war was over 5 years ago, and where's his miracle?
Some things take a long time to heal, Jeffrey.
Well, I can't wait much longer. I'm getting old. I'll be 36 soon.
Well, that's ancient. Why don't you forget about your appearance and play anyway? Why condemn the audience before they have a chance to be kind?
Look at me, and then tell me an audience won't shudder at the sight of me. Look, do you see?
I see nothing to hide, Jeffrey.
Dr. Emmett told you what to say.
No, he didn't, I promise. But I'd trust him if I were you. Give him a little more time.
All right, I'll give him 5 years more.
Fair enough.
Do you know something?
Not a thing. I'm only awed by the magnitude of what I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't tell this to anyone else. Hannibal can't really play the violin.
No.
Yes.
Well, of course I'm tone deaf.
Well, I'll tell you something else I sometimes wish I were.
Well, you're a sweet boy to pretend.
Poor Hannibal can't play, yet he does. I really can, but I won't. Don't you think that's funny?
Not very.
There's a rat in the hole! A rat as big as a mouse! Climb up on a chair quickly, Mrs. Savage!
Oh, Fairy, what am I going to do with you?
You put me right off my coffee.
You know there's no rat in the hall.
But Mrs. Savage doesn't. She's bored here, and I intend to make life exciting for her.
Well, thank you, Fairy. You'll be happy to know I just aged by 50 years, and that'll put me well over the 100 mark.
Well, we should have a birthday party. I'll make candles.
You will sit quietly and drink your coffee.
Oh, dear, I ate too much again.
You shouldn't exercise right after a meal, Hannibal.
I know, but if I wait till I'm comfortable, my conscience won't needle me.
Are you sure I haven't had any calls or messages today?
Positive.
Well, then would it be possible to send to the village and get tonight's newspaper?
Well, if you will serve the coffee, I will go talk to Dr. Emmett.
Gladly.
Here you are, Bingo.
Florence hasn't been served.
Don't stand on manners, Jeff. Miss Willie knows just how you like your coffee.
Very
I'll
well.
get mine own.
Thank you.
Oh, you're annoyed.
You single me out for attention, Miss Willie. It's not fair, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Jeff, I'm so tired tonight. I forgot. You'll have to forgive me.
Of course, I forget too.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best dressed of them all? Say who?
Sugar or cream, Fairy?
Please. Do you think this dress does anything for me? I made it myself.
It's sheer delight, Fairy. Cream?
Yes. I couldn't find anything to finish it with. I had to put it together with pins.
Hannibal?
No, thank you.
Would you like to know a trick to improve that exercise?
Well, an enjoyable way of losing weight is yet to be invented.
Well, I know of an improvement. It does take a deck of cards.
I went to a fortune teller once when I was 14. Everything he told me turned out wrong. I never believed in cards after that.
Fairy, fairy, fairy.
Now, throw them up in the air
Why?
to lose weight. Now, I want you to lean over and pick them up again, one by one.
Oh, I like this. It's tidy.
Well,
I
thank you.
learned it in a beauty course.
It's a great improvement.
Wouldn't it be easier to pick them up sideways?
Much. Well, man was made all wrong. His stomach should be in the back, because when he bends over, it gets in the way. And his knees buckle out instead of folding neatly behind him. And why should his nose be in the front? It only gets in the way when he kisses.
Oh, you're so right.
Yes, God was in a hurry.
Well, Hannibal, what are we doing now?
Oh, we're losing weight.
Well, would you postpone it for a while? And would you all mind going upstairs to the study for a few moments? I want to talk to Mrs. Savage. Florence, would you take the coffee up with you?
Oh, I do hate having coffee upstairs. It's so middle class. Where's John Thomas?
I think you left him up on the phonograph, Florence.
Oh, yes, he adores the classics.
Upstairs, downstairs, till I think I'll scream. Oh, may I stay, Dr. Emmett?
No, you may not.
Miss Willie tells me that you seem anxious to see tonight's papers. Why?
Habit.
Well, it will undoubtedly please you to know that you have caused considerable trouble again.
Have I? Oh, Titus on the front page. Senator trapped in White House hothouse.
I've just been talking to him. He's exceedingly angry.
Can you imagine pulling up all those petunias? Oh, what will everyone think?
Yeah, as a result of this, I'm afraid your position here has deteriorated considerably.
But my disposition has blossomed enormously. Nothing on Samuel.
Oh yes, here's the Boston Post.
Oh dear, poor Samuel. All those bricks right on top of him. Chimney collapses on Boston jurist. Well, for some people it takes a ton of bricks, you know.
How could they possibly have believed you, Mrs. Savage?
They should be committed, shouldn't they? Nothing on Lily Belle.
Your batting average for mischief is 100%, Mrs. Savage.
Oh, what a horrible picture of Lily Belle. This would frighten even Fairy.
Well, according to this, she resisted arrest.
So I see. Female vandal invades museum. Berserk heiress bites police. Oh, they really are fools, aren't they, Doctor?
What did you hope to gain, Mrs. Savage?
Better terms.
For your freedom?
For my husband's memorial fund.
Well, your children think that money could be put to better use.
Of course, their own. Lily Belle settled over $1 million on her 6 husbands, and Titus and Samuel spent as much securing jobs they had no right to. Is that better use?
Well, they think that your memorial fund is most unorthodox, Mrs. Savage.
Well, that's absurd. There are plenty of charities for foolish people in desperate need, but none for people in desperate need to be foolish.
Well, what brought you to that conclusion?
My own life. No matter what we have, we never forget the foolish things we never got. I'm sure if Hannibal had been given a violin when he wanted one, he wouldn't need one now.
Oh, that's quite possible.
I want my husband to be remembered with warmth and gratitude for a few foolish dreams that came true.
Well, I want to discuss this with you further, but right now, you have visitors waiting. You may come in now, Senator, and I'll be just outside if you want me.
My headache is gone.
How dare you make a fool of me? How dare you?
You tried to kill me. You knew that chimney would collapse if I pulled the bricks out, didn't you?
We're not a very bright family, are we?
Oh, you must be proud indeed to see the name of Savage held up to ridicule again.
Did you dig Titus?
8 FBI men jumped me, pushed my face to the ground. They thought I was planting a bomb.
Why didn't you tell the newspapers the truth? I did. Sleepwalking, really?
You tried to think of something to say when you have 8 men standing on your chest.
She'd love the chance.
Oh. Quote, "It was learned today that the senator's mother, Mrs. Ethel P. Savage, the actress, was recently committed for irresponsible actions. Democratic leaders were quick to point out that this might explain the strange behavior by the senator in Congress, unquote. Do you know what this does to me politically?
It makes you a Mort Canard, dead duck. French, remember?
I'll never survive it, never.
They treated me like a common criminal. I was fingerprinted.
I need to ask you, Lily Belle, what is in a stuffed porpoise?
Do you know what the papers call us?
The bad savages.
Well, how do you like it?
What happened to the bonds?
What happened to your dignity?
Where's my money?
Where's your self-respect?
May I just ask what you intend to do now?
Well, are you willing to listen to my terms? Or would you care to dig in Grant's tomb?
We are prepared to compromise.
Well, if that means you'll see things my way, then compromise is the right word.
I will consider effecting your release to the custody of someone else for a period of time. It would look better for us.
And I would be willing to give her her complete freedom if she'd give up acting and lead a dignified life.
Freedom, as Titus can tell you, means it's the right to make the wrong choice.
What would we get?
Well, that's what I like about you, Titus. No nonsense. You shall each receive a reasonable yearly allowance.
How reasonable?
I shall be generous, but the bulk of the estate must be given away by my fund.
Oh, it's completely mad.
We might have the commitment revoked only for you to play another trick on us. Then where will we be?
Where are you now?
Get it over with, Titus.
Very well. Samuel, write a retraction.
I'm tired of having my decisions reversed.
Once I'm released, I'll keep my promise, but I warn you, do not have me followed.
Samuel, wait a minute.
What?
I found the answer on the cover of this medical journal.
What are you talking about?
A way to avoid your compromise, but I have to see Dr. Emmett first.
Lily Belle, are you going to sign that petition?
Titus, don't you sign anything until I get back.
Lily Belle, what could she have possibly read?
God knows.
Something to trick you, and if you listen to Lily Belle again, you will end up without a cent.
What shall I do?
Write it. Lily Belle has gotten us into trouble enough.
And be quick about it. Yours and Samuel's signature will be enough.
How many T's in commitment?
3.
2.
It doesn't look right.
I'll write it. Give me your pen.
All right, but give it back.
All it needs to say is that the commitment was ill-advised and request release. Will that satisfy you?
It will when you sign it.
Sign it, Samuel.
What are you doing?
We are signing the letter. Sign it.
You'll regret
It
this.
isn't necessary.
Lily Belle, you have no right to act without consulting us.
Oh, do be quiet and read that.
Read what?
The article on sodium pentothal. Doctor, could you please tell them what sodium pentothal does?
It's generally used in cases of shock. It releases tension and removes the patient's inhibitions and makes them receptive to suggestion.
It's called the truth drug.
That's not quite accurate, however.
Well, under its influence, the patient answers truthfully. Isn't that so?
If they answer it all.
Now do you understand? Did you want me, doctor?
Yes, just a moment.
Dr. Emmett, get some of this truth drug at once and administer it to my mother.
Haven't I any rights at all, Doctor?
Dr. Emmett, may I say something? Surely you're not going to listen to these people. It's a flagrant misuse of science.
Doctor, I order you to get some of this drug and give it to my mother at once.
Mrs. Savage, if I refuse, your guardians are quite within their legal right to remove you from my authority. And I am confident that they will find a means of subjecting you to the influence of sodium pentothal elsewhere.
Well, let someone else be responsible, Doctor.
But $10 million hidden from use does no one any good, least of all you. It remains an ever-present symptom of psychotic thinking. This is your opportunity to prove that you are capable of making a rational decision. An intelligent mind recognizes defeat.
Well, let it be known I was not forced to my knees by science. I'll tell you where the bonds are.
Wait! We've come to the rescue!
It's not too late.
We'll stand by you, Mrs. Savage.
We just happen to be listening. Oh, shame on you and you.
Dr. Emmett, who are these people?
These are my friends.
Hannibal, weren't you asked to stay upstairs?
I want to protest, Doctor.
Who gives you the right to protest, sir? This doesn't concern you.
Oh, I love you all for wanting to help, but Dr. Emmett hasn't much choice, you must have heard.
What will you do, Mrs. Savage?
I'll tell them where the bonds are.
I think you've made the right decision, Mrs. Savage.
Are you going to tell us or not?
I'll show you. We'll show you.
Oh, you'll hurt him!
Here's your treasure.
Oh my God, she had them with her the whole time.
Someone turn on those lights. I haven't got a match.
Who is this?
Turn on those lights. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Who turned off those lights?
Oh, one of our patients. Oh, Mrs. Paddy?
Where's Lily Belle?
She's disappeared.
Oh, my gracious! What are you doing down there?
Somebody pushed me.
Wasn't me, I wasn't near enough.
They're gone. The bonds are gone.
God!
What did you do with them?
I put them on the table. You saw it yourself.
Well, then where are they?
Excuse me, Senator, but I'd say that Mrs. Paddy has them. It seems obvious to me that she turned off the lights, took the bonds, and ran.
Miss Willie, get Mrs. Paddy. Notify the guards to stop her before she destroys those bonds.
Oh, I can't bear this. I simply can't bear this. I'm falling to pieces.
Well, this will calm you. Would you like to try it?
Oh, darling Mrs. Paddy. Come on, girls. Let's go for a walk.
Why, this is nothing but a madhouse. Oh.
Yes, Dr. Emmett. Yes, Miss Wilhelmina. Good. Good. Good.
Well,
Well, the wards are all locked off. The staff is alerted and Miss Willie is searching the basement now.
but did she find that woman?
Well, not yet.
Then what in heaven's name was all that good about?
We're taking every possible precaution, Senator.
That maniac has $10 million in negotiable bonds. If they're not found, they cannot be replaced.
What will she do with them, Doctor?
Oh, she'll probably eat them.
Well, I don't know, but we're sure to recover them. It may take a little time.
Years, probably.
Oh, they were right here in front of us, within our grasp. Why didn't you stop her?
How did I know the lights were going to go out?
You know, it's possible Mrs. Paddy didn't take them at all.
Well, of course she did. Who else could have taken them?
You could have.
Oh, Lily Belle was 10 feet away from the table.
Well, she's mighty quick when it comes to money. Personally, I think she stuck them down her front. Heaven knows there's enough room. Maybe you can search her.
You didn't take them, did you, Lily Belle?
Can't you see? that she's trying to make us suspect each other.
Well, somebody else could have taken them. Why, he was the nearest one to the table when the lights went out.
Oh, he was right beside it.
Well, what do you have to say?
It wasn't me. I don't like bonds.
Oh, the Queen of Spades! Someone is going to die.
Dr. Emmett, must these people be here?
Get them out of here. Oh, no. No one leaves until he is searched.
Everyone off with their clothes.
My glasses too?
Fairy, just a moment. Mrs. Savage, please don't make this any more difficult than you already have.
And for heaven's sake, do something about this man's tossing cards around. My nerves are on edge.
Hannibal, don't.
Don't do this, don't do that. Don't do this, don't do that. I understand you have a lovely tiara. Do you sleep in it?
Sit down, you unattractive creature. I've had quite enough.
I don't like you.
Fairy, please sit quietly while we wait.
Very well.
Mary?
Excuse me, I'm upset.
Mrs. Paddy, you have the entire staff searching for you.
Stop her. Don't let her get away.
I think you'd better join us, Mrs. Paddy. We want to talk to you.
Now we'll find out where those bonds are. Madam, hand over those bonds.
You'd better let me question her, Senator. She won't talk to you.
Oh, yes, she will.
Oh, no, she won't.
Oh, we'll find out about that. Well, madam, what do you have to say for yourself?
I hate everything in the world. But most of all, I hate revolving doors, cuspidors, fights, fuzz, fleas, bumblebees, prickly heat, bats, gnats, pills, pots, pans, butts, bladders, worms, germs, pachyderms, and politicians.
What does she mean?
Are you listening?
Madam, did you hear what I asked you?
There's no need to shout at Mrs. Paddy, Senator. She hears you well enough, but she's not going to talk to you. She hasn't answered a question in 20 years.
Don't try any tricks on me, madam.
Oh, don't make her mad, Titus. She carries a knife.
Please, Mrs. Savage. Mrs. Paddy doesn't carry a knife. She's hostile, but quite harmless. Now, will you be so kind as to yield the floor to me, Senator?
Very well, but I want to hear her talk.
So do we all.
Mrs. Paddy, now this is quite important. I want you to nod yes or no to the questions I ask you. Now, did you take some bonds from the table a few minutes ago?
She didn't.
Oh, this is exciting. I wish we could open a door and have a body fall out.
Mrs. Paddy, look at me. Now, do you remember turning out the lights? Oh, yes, you do. And do you remember a little bundle of papers on the table? Try to remember. Think.
I found them.
Oh, no, you don't. I'll take
Oh,
those.
but Senator,
I'll take charge of those.
Oh, look, radio tubes.
You said you found the bonds.
I said nothing of the sort.
Oh, this restores my faith in witchcraft.
Well, where did you find them, Miss Willie?
They were in the basement in the hot air duct leading to Fairy's room.
I told you I was cold all winter and you wouldn't believe me.
I hold you personally responsible for this fiasco.
Well, what would you just suggest that I do, Senator?
Well, search that woman. She may have hidden them on her person.
Well, I'm afraid this is going to present a problem.
Well, search everyone else while we focus on making her talk.
Oh, very well. Will you take Mrs. Savage to her room and search her, please?
Oh, no. Take me first. I'm the youngest and undressed quickest. Or do you want to draw straws?
Oh, you first, Fairy. I don't want to miss anything.
Thank you.
Would you like to come with me, Fairy?
Yes, miss. Do you know, I was once asked to play Lady Godiva at the Elks pageant, but I didn't. My mother was afraid of so many elks.
Wouldn't you like to save us all a lot of trouble, Mrs. Paddy?
Don't you have some sort of threat to resort to here?
I don't threaten my patients. Now, look at me, Mrs. Paddy.
The truth drug.
Of course. Use the truth drug on her, then we can make her talk.
I'm afraid that's out of the question. I would have to have her guardian's consent.
Very well, we'll get it. Who's her guardian?
Her husband.
We'll just get him on the phone. Where is he?
Japan.
Very well. In his absence, haven't you the authority to act?
We've no proof that she took them yet.
I still think Lily Belle's your girl.
Oh, stop saying that.
Dr. Emmett,
Yes, Jeff?
since Mrs. Savage can't have her bonds anyhow, I think I can help you.
Yes?
Mrs. Paddy didn't take them,
Well, how do you know?
because I did.
He's the thief. I knew we were being tricked. Hand them over, young man.
I can't.
Did you take them, Jeffrey?
Yes, sir.
Then what did you do with them?
I checked Fairy Doctor. She doesn't have them.
Speak up.
I threw them out the window.
Oh, go outside quickly, Titus. We'll watch from the window.
Stop! Parcheesi, the royal game of India.
But Jeff, you couldn't have thrown them out the window. The window is closed.
Oh, it's stuck. What do you mean by misleading us?
You get your hands off him, you stupid ox!
He said that he had the bonds.
Well, he doesn't. I happen to know he doesn't.
Well, how do you happen to know that?
That's none of your business.
Well, how do you know, Miss Willie?
Because I had my arms around him when the lights went out. I was afraid he was going to get hurt in the confusion.
Well, thank you, Miss Willie.
But she didn't. That's not true. I took them. No one else.
Dr. Emmett, Miss Willie, what's something awful's happening? There's a fire upstairs and flames this high.
Fairy, you mustn't with company.
Oh, but there were, but this high at least.
Fairy, please come in and sit there quietly.
Oh no, there's a fire. You have to believe me. There's a fire upstairs.
Where?
In the bathtub.
Fairy, sit down.
But I'm all full of pins.
Jeffrey, if you did take the bonds, where did you put them?
I told you, he couldn't have taken them.
Of course he couldn't. If anyone should know that, I should.
Now I suppose you took them.
I confess everything.
Oh, there's a fire upstairs.
There's a conspiracy down here.
Where are they, Florence?
I won't tell you.
Oh, these people are trying to deceive us.
I have committed this theft with full knowledge of the stigma involved.
Something's burning upstairs.
We better search her.
Greedy little man.
Will you take Florence to her room and search her carefully, please?
Come along, Florence.
I'll never tell Mrs. Savage, not even if they put me in solitary confinement and cut off all my hair.
It's a waste of time to search dear Florence.
Oh, now I suppose you took them.
No, but I know who did.
I know a fire when I see one.
Who did it, Hannibal?
Well, I know it wasn't Mrs. Paddy,
Who was it?
and it wasn't Florence either.
I don't want to know who it wasn't. I want to know who was it.
Is that good grammar?
Well, if you ask a philosopher what God is, he'll tell you all the things he isn't. It's easier than saying what he is.
Well, the one thing he isn't is he isn't on your side.
Hannibal, if you know who took the bonds, will you tell us?
Well, I'm not sure who took them, but I know it was a woman, and I know it wasn't Mrs. Paddy.
Well, how do you know?
Fiddle, let the house burn.
How do you know?
A woman pushed me out of the way to get them.
How do you know it was a woman?
Oh, really, Titus?
How do you know it was not Mrs. Paddy?
She doesn't wear perfume.
Lily Belle bathes in it.
I was nowhere near the table.
Can you identify the scent?
Oh, I think so.
Well, I use gardenia. What do you use, Sara?
Oh, no name. I make my own.
Hannibal, smell Lily Belle.
Titus, I won't tolerate this. They're making fools of us for their own amusement.
Do you smell anything, Hannibal?
Yes.
What?
Smoke!
Well, high time.
I must be losing my mind, but I smell smoke too.
Doctor, there was a fire in Mrs. Paddy's bathtub.
Oh, I don't think I'll speak to anyone.
In the bathtub?
I'm afraid it's the bonds. Or what's left of them.
Oh, no. No, 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 no.
Let me see these.
No.
Oh. Why, there's no way of telling what these are.
Mrs. Paddy, did you take those bonds to your room and set fire to them?
Here's a piece of something that didn't burn, Senator. Can you tell what it is?
This is the burnt end of a $500,000 bond.
Are you sure? Mrs. Savage, can you identify this?
The treasure hunt is over. It's all that's left of $10 million.
I should have told a lie. Then somebody would have believed me.
Yes, Barry. I should have believed you anyhow. There must be some way of replacing them, Senator.
Well, there isn't.
Oh, they can't be gone. They just can't.
You useless, miserable creature. Do you know what you have cost us?
Oh, leave her alone. Never mind, Mrs. Paddy.
I have stood for as much bullying of my patients as I intend to. Now, will you be so kind as to leave at once?
Well, what about the burnt piece? Isn't it worth anything?
Nothing. I hold you personally responsible for this.
Oh, I can't be poor. I don't know how.
It'll be okay, Lily Belle. We will survive this. We always have. I am still a senator.
Lily Belle, I never intended it to end like this, believe me.
Take me home, Titus, please.
Titus, what happens to me?
You have nothing to worry about. We would never allow you to be in a public institution.
After all, we are savages.
Goodbye. We say goodbye to people we don't want to see again.
Don't cry, Mrs. Paddy. I'm sure you hate tears too.
Oh, maybe she thinks her tub is cracked.
Did you think you could change them, Mrs. Savage?
One doesn't change people. One makes changes people learn to accept. I thought by making them look foolish, they might look with understanding on the fools of the good heart.
And who are the fools of good heart, Mrs. Savage?
I'd say those that gamble on people and invest in kindness, those that doubt that position means privilege, or that manners mean morals, and of course the rebels who have no fear of failure.
That makes very good sense.
And justifies my being here.
Would you like to leave?
They would never let me go.
Well, they have nothing to say about it. No patient's commitment is final until I've made my decision. I see no valid reason for your remaining.
Do you mean I'm free?
Well, I could release you on my own authority at once, but let me get the state medical inspector on the telephone, and then I'll let you know definitely.
I think I'm going to go pack your things, just in case. We can always unpack again.
Oh, you hate us. Oh, Fairy, why do you say that? You want to leave us. Fairy, I must.
Is someone waiting for you?
No.
Does someone need you?
No.
Oh, but you can't leave. Oh, I haven't had time to get you a going away present. Maybe there's still time to find a suitable present. Anyhow, if you won't be fussy, I'll go look.
I'd like to see what I can find for you too, Mrs. Savage. Will you wait?
Oh, this will be fun. Come on, everybody. Let's see what we can find.
I have something I just remembered.
No, don't leave before we get back now, or you won't get anything.
I'll try to find something useless. I abhor practical gifts.
Well, I don't have anything in my room you'd want, Mrs. Savage. But I have something on me that I prize. My class ring. Inside it says, "Let there be light." Something Mrs. Paddy would hate.
No, Hannibal, I can't take the ring off your finger.
But I insist. Well, it has no value as gold goes, but as blood goes, it's a statistical treasure. Well, my heart has pumped my blood through this ring every 2 minutes for the last 10 years. Well, that adds up to roughly about 100,000 gallons of blood.
Oh, it's too much.
Oh, not at all. But I don't seem to be able to get it off.
Oh, forget it. I deeply appreciate the offer, the sincerity and the statistics.
My finger has got too fat on each side of the ring.
Oh, never mind, Hannibal. It's just that you've had it so long, it's become a part of you.
Oh, I'm all out of breath. We feel my heart. Oh, very dear. Oh, but I found something. I hope you didn't expect much, because then you will be disappointed.
I won't be disappointed.
I couldn't find anything to wrap it in except Kleenex. Well, you can feel my heart too, Hannibal.
Oh, thank you. About 104 beats per minute, I'd say.
Oh, how very nice.
Oh, what is it?
A handkerchief.
Oh, no, it's a napkin. So many places serve paper napkins, and they just blot and smear.
Oh, bless you, Fairy. I'll take it with me whenever I'm invited out.
It says the cloisters on it. Isn't that lucky?
Oh, Fairy found something first. What did she give you?
A hand-picked napkin.
Oh, then that fits perfectly with my present. It's practical after all. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, you shouldn't have, Florence.
Well, what is it?
A salt shaker.
And full of salt, too.
It's engraved. It says the cloisters.
Is it sterling?
Fairy dear, I wouldn't dream of giving Mrs. Savage anything that wasn't sterling.
But it's dented.
Really, Fairy, dents give an antique character.
Indeed they do.
Well, I'm not going to say goodbye. I can't stand goodbyes. I don't recognize them.
Oh, you didn't expect us to say goodbye, did you?
I didn't even expect a salt shaker.
Well, how do you do, Mrs. Savage? We have so looked forward to meeting you.
We're glad you're here at last. Make yourself at home.
Oh, I almost forgot. John Thomas asked me to give you something from him. He was afraid you'd catch his measles if he delivered it himself. Come, Fairy, let's play pretend it's garden hour.
Oh, will you excuse us, please? We have to dig weeds. Take an umbrella. It's raining.
Well, Jeffrey, what did you bring?
Just a book, but I hope you enjoy it.
What is it?
The Lifespan of the Ape. Do you know I've never read it?
I was lucky, wasn't I?
I'll read it tonight.
Oh, Mrs. Paddy, we thought you'd forgotten us.
What did you get, Mrs. Paddy?
Oh, how lovely. How did you know? It's just exactly what I needed.
Did I see?
It's a genuine mother-of-pearl button. I'll sew it on at once.
I think it's intended to make an eye for the bear.
Oh, bless your angry heart. We both thank you. He's hated having only one eye.
I hate everything in the world, but I hate everything in the world, but I hate everything in the world but you. And I love you. And I wish you wouldn't leave us.
Why, she said she loved me.
Well?
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Why, we knew it all along.
But she spoke.
She had to say it.
Well, Jeff, should we see what the girls are up to? It's a pleasant night and everybody's polite. Watch out. Don't break your neck.
You have a good seat.
Well, I think I have everything. Here is your $85 hat. I told you you'd want it again.
Oh, my foolish and beautiful hat.
You know, I think you've been wearing it backwards.
No, I think you're right. Well, it's nice to be straightened out.
Oh, where did everyone go?
Well, they gave me going-away presents, and then they refused to say goodbye.
I can guess what they gave you.
No, you can't. Mrs. Paddy gave me an eye with which to see myself, and Florence, a grain of salt to take with what I see.
That's good. And Fairy?
A memory of loveliness.
Oh, I'm afraid to most people she wouldn't seem a lovely girl.
She wears her plainness with great beauty.
Nothing from Jeff?
the book of Job.
Oh. And Hannibal?
I'd say he gave me an appreciation of music I've never had before.
Well, I have something for you too.
Oh, behave yourself.
It isn't much.
It better not be. Dear, these are my bonds.
All except for the corner of one that I had to burn with the newspaper to make it look convincing.
But where did you find them?
I didn't find them. I stole them when the lights went out.
Oh, but why?
I'm not sure.
Well, don't tell me you're a kleptomaniac.
It was too quick to think. What bothers me is, though, after I took them, I toyed with the idea of keeping them.
Well, that's a natural response, but what stopped you?
What Jeff might think.
Oh, you need to get out of here. That kind of thinking isn't good for you, my dear.
But you knew Jeff was my husband, didn't you?
I certainly did not.
Oh, well, he is. I want to be here when he recovers. You know why I wouldn't take any of that money? Pure selfishness. I want to do everything for him myself. Surely you understand that.
The only thing I don't understand is how I could have felt so sorry for myself. Isn't there a saying, no fool like a you-know-what?
Something. But I don't think it applies to you.
Does anyone else know about these?
I told Dr. Emmett.
Well, whether you like it or not, you're both going to hear from my memorial fund.
I talked to the medical examiner.
Yes?
The station wagon is outside, ready to take you whenever you want to go. Would you take Mrs. Savage's bag out to the car?
Yes, doctor.
I have a few papers for you to sign, Mrs. Savage, and then you're free to go.
I must be out of my mind, really. I don't want to go.
Well, you mean you'd prefer to leave tomorrow?
I think I don't want to leave at all.
Well, why would you want to stay?
Well, suddenly I'm weary. I'd like to rest. I'd like to be relieved of decision. I'd like to be protected by uncertainty and accident. I'd like to close my eyes at night and know the walls are there to guard my sleep.
But the peace you find here is the moon reflected on a dark lake. Strike the surface and you destroy it. Is that the kind of peace you want?
I want what everyone wants, to want nothing. These people have found contentment.
How do you know?
I have eyes to see.
So does Jefferey. But he sees only what he wants to see, an excuse for not facing the future. Does Florence see that her child was taken from her? Does Fairy see what the mirror should tell her? No. They've found refuge in an eggshell world where you don't belong. For you see yourself clearly, I'm sure.
But then where do I belong?
In the world you can best serve. The impulse to live your life with courage was right. Go ahead with your memorial. And don't be betrayed by the illusion of contentment. The door is open for you. Make your peace with loneliness.
Oh, good, you're still here. I just thought of what I could give you.
Oh, no, Hannibal, not your violin.
Oh, no, you couldn't play it. But I can give you a song that you can take with you wherever you go. Here is your song.